doesn't surprise me anymore is how many of those news articles that talks about AI also talks about the fact that AI eliminates a lot of jobs. Still, there's job losses. That AI will be automated and will be replacing all the jobs. There'll, there will be no jobs, and you know what? I'm not surprised that obviously people trying to sell fear, and fear sells. I understand that it's all about getting the most views and attract advertising with it. I understand the whole business of news, of selling news, but that's just not the reality of things. Yes, I mean AI is eliminating tasks that are related to some jobs. One of the examples is developers. I mean, right now we could generate code without having to manually code. Um, those the software. However, even that is not completely true because you still need to verify that what AI generated is relevant and is good for those programs or those softwares or those applications. So there's kind of it doesn't really represent the reality by itself. And I know some of you will say, well, this time is different. Yes, this time is different. AI comes with new capabilities. I agree with that. I mean, yeah, some jobs will be unfortunately eliminated for sure. As any technology, whatever it's internet, I'm talking about general purpose technologies, whatever it's internet, whatever it's electricity, whatever it's steam engine, or any general purpose technology that came with changes. And yes, a bunch of jobs were eliminated, but also it created a lot of opportunities. And so here in this stream, I want to address a couple of things because if you study history, if you look at history, and I know it's going to be a very abstract what I will say here, but in this stream I wanted to go into specifics and show you what the AI driven economy will look like. I will go into specific jobs that will be created, specific roles that will need people, and specific industries and what they will look like basically. But let's not forget, if you study history, each time we have this technological change, it comes with challenges and problems. For those challenges and problems, we needed people, we needed new services. But at the same time, those those technological changes came with the new capabilities that we'll have. And new capabilities obviously create new needs. Our human needs need to evolve. And with the evolution of human needs, we basically create new services and products. And those services and products, well, we need new businesses and new industries. And to support all of that, we need people. That's what is happening. This is how our civilization evolved. And the idea of post-labor economics is that I think one thing that they miss is that they don't consider the fact that human needs evolve each time we have a technological change. And with the evolution of human needs, obviously, by human needs, I mean we have new capabilities. We don't want less, we want more. That's how things work. This is how basically our nature. So with all of that, we need new industries, we need new people, and for those things, we need to create new jobs. So I'm not afraid that there will be less jobs. I'm afraid actually there will be not enough people to kind of occupy the roles and jobs that we needed to support the new AI-driven economy. So that said, obviously, I want to show you exactly what the AI-driven economy will look like in this stream. What new industries will be created. I will go into specific of what they will look like and why they will be created, and also what new roles and jobs will be created within those industries, because it's really important. That's specifically what will help you. You know, scrolling and looking at the post or news articles that talks about, you know, how many jobs will be lost because of AI, it's not productive. It will not help you. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, it's somehow it's exciting because, you know, fear, attracts attention, obviously, but it's not going to be helpful. So in this stream, I wanted to go over the sectors that will be closer to us. I will not talk about agriculture, and I will not talk about, you know, very niche sectors of our economy. I want to talk mostly about, you know, sectors that we kind of will be able to relate to, and those sectors will touch us directly. It's training and education. The second one, healthcare, manufacturing, and the last one is social media or social networks. So let's start with the first one. I'll just put myself aside as usual. Here we go. Education. That's one actually is quite exciting, to be honest with you. What will change with AI is that AI will bring capabilities that we already have, actually, right now today. It's just they are really expensive. I'm talking about ultra realistic 3-dimensional simulation. You see, the best way to learn something is to practice, is to put someone in a very realistic, practical environment, so that the individual, without putting himself in danger, or without, you know, having to go through very expensive mistakes, whatever it's for his career or for the company itself, will be able to just, you know, be in that simulation, make a lot of mistakes, and learn from it. Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it could be a work environment, it could be highly dangerous, you know, situations, whatever it is. The best way to learn is to practice. And you're gonna say, but we already have video games. We're already able to create ultra realistic kind of environments with VR and all of that. Yes, but right now, as we speak, and ask any video game developer, you need teams of developers and graphic designers and sound specialists, and God knows how many individuals that kind of needs to work on one video games. And even video games, they kind of, the logic is pre-programmed. They're not intelligent. Well, they have some level of intelligence, obviously, and so very often they're quite cartoonish. They're not highly ultra realistic, but it's just so expensive. And imagine it's like you have to create all of that, so much simulation for for a bunch of topics and subjects, and, you know, for even for each individual itself, because we don't learn in the same way. Ultra expensive. What will change is that AI will give us this ability, because AI will generate the whole environment, toward the whole 3D environment with Scratch, with a very minimal cost. And so, you know, AI will generate this ultra realistic 3D environment, and it will create those narratives, context, very highly realistic scenarios where the individual will experience emotions, and also even the decision tree will be also managed by AI in a very intelligent way. So it's not gonna, somebody will not need to program the whole logic. The logic itself will evolve with AI itself. So it's like storytelling meets system thinking, if I could, you know, put it this way. So what role will be created in that context? I call it AI scenario designer. Basically, this is kind of someone who it's mostly kind of a movie director for intelligent simulations, so to speak. That job doesn't exist right now at scale, obviously. But as AI becomes more context aware and more powerful and more mature, that kind of role becomes almost essential. You need to have someone who will direct AI through and into a certain outcome, and that person will understand the individuals and the human nature itself. So it's like the combination of screenwriter, game designer, educator, psychologist, and even a coach. Put everything together. You will say it's kind of an impossible role to have. Well, it is possible when you have the help of AI itself. And that person should feel, should kind of create a scenario where the individual will feel, learn, and confront specific situation in those scenarios that will be then translated him and her learning something for the real life. So at the other side, you will have obviously AI that will handle all the visuals, voices, the logic, decision tree that will evolve, and the highly realistic environment itself. So a couple of use cases just to give you an idea. One is could be preparing someone for a negotiation or practicing empathy in the social work, or social environment, basically. Exploring leadership in a corporate environment or any other environments, helping someone like kind of reverse a breakup with a loved one, or even reverse a job interview. So what people will need for that specific role is going to be people who basically deeply understand human nature, and also storytelling will kind of basically thrive in this space, in that environment. The closest thing that I could give you is the UX designer, user experience designer, that are working on websites or on some apps or application right now. They kind of understand how human interacts with apps or with websites. This one is going to be kind of similar, but in a much bigger scale. And I'm sure that one of the roles is gonna be the kind of this in the same way, in the same thing that happens with website developers during the 2010s, where there was a big demand for full stack developers or even back end front end developers. I think with AI scenario designers, there will be kind of a surge explosion in those specialists. They will be highly needed. That's for sure. And also one of the also roles that could also appear, I call it life architects, kind of those people who gonna work with therapists, career coach, and educators. They also will create 3D highly realistic simulations, but those will be much more related to mental health and psychology, for personal, what I call personal pathways, where someone could explore experiences for personal growth, healing, and also decision making in life. Also, one of the services that also could be offered is, I call it life path experiences. Is basically, let's say you want to explore being a startup founder in Laos, or you see how life feels like a paramedic in Tokyo. This is the kind of things that you will be able to explore, and for those services, obviously you will need you need basically an AI scenario designer that will work on those highly realistic scenarios. And everything related, any role or job that related to creating experiences, basically personalized self-discovery quests, or where AI will continuously adjust the simulation in real time based on your reaction and choices. But again, those inexperienced need to be supervised and guided, but by someone. Also, other roles that will be created: emotional engineers. Emotional engineers role. What's that? It's someone who needs to fine tune how AI responds to human reactions, basically shaping the vibe and pacing of a simulation so it feels just right. Because, as the devil is in the details. How the you kind of need to. It's a Emotional engineers will be a very subtle art and also a science of how to modulate the whole simulation so it feels real, and also it feels right for what we want the user to experience, so to speak. Also, another role that will be created is identity testers. Those are people who follow users before and after the simulation. It's like basically like a QA, quality assurance people, but for simulations, so to speak. Another one that I kind of it's a bit science fiction, but there's a reality to it. It's Dreamsmith's role. Those are people who kind of co-create aspirational or healing simulations for individuals recovering from trauma, phobia, or anxiety. It's mostly related to psychology and to mental health. Um, Another one will be curators of any type of AI experiences, who know how to guide AI, and not but by writing every detail, or but by shaping the intent, the vibe, and also the outcome that we want that simulation to perform. Then, so people who will kind of be needed for this kind of job is people who have vision, values, emotional intelligence, and kind of this kind of narrative intuition, and human sensibility. Um, One of the examples that I could give you, obviously, is the music producer that doesn't always play instruments. Well, actually, very often they don't play instruments, but they bring the whole sound together to produce a piece of music. That's kind of the closest thing to those people that will work on those simulations. And also just the producer of experiences, that will probably will work solo, not in teams. That will combine storytellers, the game design, psychology, and they will create into one kind of role, basically. And also they will be kind of creating also relationship training, conflict resolution, or any type of training that requires highly realistic simulation. It could be any application. It could be training astronauts to go into space, or something much more down to earth as conflict resolution within a work environment, let's say. Or it could be much more personal as relationship training. How do you resolve conflict within your partner? That's kind of the simulation that could be definitely created. And let's not forget that for all of those roles, all of those services, you need people at the back end. Those people will be AI trainers, cultural consultants, because every culture is different. The way we work in one culture is not the way we work in another culture. So there will be kind of an adaptation. Neurofeedback analyst, how people will actually react to all of those simulations. And also ethics moderators. We already have ethics moderators or any kind of moderators within existing website. We'll need even more of those people. One will have all of those experiences, highly realistic AI generated experiences. So that's for education. And this is just because AI will be able to generate, you know, those experiences basically. Now let's go to another industry that will be highly interesting. It's healthcare. What's interesting about healthcare is that mostly people will say about, and I see a lot of companies these days, they focus mostly on optimizing medical procedures, optimizing existing medical procedures with AI, or management of medical operations or whatever it is, and all of those things are useful. But one industry that will really explode and will be kind of created within healthcare, it's what's called preventive medicine. There's nothing new about it. It already exists. But one thing that AI helps to automate what's called the medical diagnostics. Because the most problematic thing right now is to just, find, kind of give a picture, a full scan of somebody's health. It's not about diagnosing specific disease, but just give a real big picture of what's going on within our bodies, and having that diagnostic. If we want to have that diagnostic of real, full scan of our bodies, we need to go through hundreds and hundreds of exams, medical exams, and even that, some of them will be kind of subjective to how to the level of experience and competencies of medical personnel. So it's not foolproof. It takes a lot of time today, and everything when we come about medical diagnosis of specific diseases or just our health in general, today it's very inaccurate. It's nobody gonna surprise me with the fact that it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of resources, and it's just not practical at this point, unless you have a disease and it needs to be diagnosed, or you have an emergency. But with AI, we'll be able to have this diagnosis in real time, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And that's what will gonna change the medicine by itself. So it's not anymore about correcting or trying to cure a disease or a health problem that we already have. It's about having your full scan and prevent a lot of diseases or a lot of health problems or potential health problems that we could have. So it's less about treating the disease, it's more about optimizing life. And as you know, today, the tests are done manually. AI can detect and analyze multiple, physiological factors with a bunch of sensors. At this point, the only kind of technical, I will say, limitation that we have right now is that we need a much more kind of sensitive, much more advanced sensors, electronic sensors, to get as much data as possible about us, and then AI will completely change the whole thing altogether. And AI will be able to basically measure a lot of factors related to our health, related to our bodies, including heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature variation, respiratory rate, and also variation of the respiratory rate, blood oxygen level, blood composition, facial microexpression, voice tone, sweat and saliva composition variation, or just the composition itself, pupil dilation. Basically, what it will do, it will create a full idea, a full scan of personal health, and it will get us the personal health baseline and flag in anything abnormal instantaneously. It's like a 24/7 health scanner that knows your body better than you do, basically. And this is where, I mean, preventive healthcare will basically explode. And for that, obviously, we'll need people. I mean, what kind of roles will need basically when we'll have this big industry of preventive healthcare that will be driven by AI? We'll need preventive health strategists. Um, those like it's like personal trainers, but using AI to build daily habits and reduce risks. Because you need to understand, yes, AI could diagnose a lot of things, but you need to have people that will take some responsibility, and will basically, see the patients, and also make sure that AI doesn't make mistakes, because AI will make mistakes. There's nothing foolproof. Also, everything that's related to personalized nutrition. Um, yes, we have nutritionists, but when you have this full picture of somebody, then you can make decisions that you could not make just by having a very limited idea about this individual. Now, we will also need predictive genetic counselors, because you see, when you will be able to, you know, to take saliva, to take blood, it's going to be analyzed by AI, and we'll have a bunch of sensors. So obviously, we'll see our genome and our genetical blueprint, and using AI and we'll be able to basically use AI to prevent diseases for each individual based on the genetical markers, and also optimize our body this way. We'll also need, and this is kind of related to more psychology, because AI will also be able to analyze the way we speak, the way we interact with people, the way we feel. So everything that's related to mental health tracking, for that we'll also will need what I call psychoanalyst, that will get all those data, all those conclusions that comes from AI, and will also analyze and will suggest some treatment, or just follow people psychologically. That will be done by psychoanalysts. Also, everything that's related to AI assisted mental therapy or mental therapist also, will be there, because those therapists will have much more data, will have much bigger picture about what's going on with these individuals. So AI will be able to track your mood patterns, your speech, your sleep patterns, even your posture, and intervene before things spiral. Also, I will track patterns, noticing every emotional shift, suggestion interventions. But the human, you see, that's where I don't agree with people that say I will completely eliminate humans. Humans still bring the intuition, it's bring the ethics, it's bring the final judgment, and human takes responsibility for whatever happens. And that's a really important aspect of us using AI. So I think you see where everything is going. Is basically AI will create an economy of not mass production, not one size fits all. AI will create this environment of mass customization, where basically we use a highly advanced, technology like AI to customize, you know, all of those things, customize all of those treatments, based off each individuals, because we are all different. Our bodies are different, our minds are different. We all have our personal needs, and those needs, needs to be customized. And those people that will be involved in it, obviously with AI, they they will not spend a lot of time diagnose whatever is physiological diagnosis or mental diagnosis. They will spend much more time looking and even analyzing and even following individuals and see the big picture, and then suggestion, making some suggestion or making some decisions about the best treatment to give to those specific individuals. So, and that's why, I see AI will bring a lot of tools, but we need people to make those decisions basically. Okay, so let's go right now into manufacturing. This one is interesting because if you're in manufacturing, probably you will see it a little bit of science fiction, but I will ensure you that manufacturing will see a big change in how they operate the production. Um, one of the roles that will appear within manufacturing is the what I call supply chain resilience designer. We had so much trouble, so much issues with supply, especially during COVID. So those are actually the individuals that will build backup plans using simulation to prepare for disruptions. Because you see, one of the big strength, or I would say, capabilities of AI is this ability to build highly complex simulations and actually almost predict or projects what will happen within a certain parameters with and when you could simulate and kind of predict what's going to happen, obviously you could design a system that is much more resilient and much more robust. But those systems, AI by itself will be able to simulate. It will be able to suggest some solutions, but you still need to have designers or people that will create a supply chain that will be kind of interesting, and somebody needs to take responsibility for that. Also, another position that will be also kind of created, I call it system orchestrators, manufacturing system orchestrators. A lot of machines or equipment within manufacturing will be AI driven or it will be automated on some level. So still you will need to have individual that will oversee AI driven operations, tweak processes, and handle exceptions that AI can't solve. It's mostly a mix of operators and maintenance personnel, but on a much more sophisticated level, obviously. And also, the third one, and this one is quite amazing because it's the one that basically the role that, probably is in demand right now with the AI capability that we have right now. And I'm talking about preventive maintenance analyst. Now, preventive maintenance, there's nothing new about preventive maintenance. It's about analyzing and see, how what operation we could do or how could we maintain the manufacturing equipment before anything breaks. Because once one equipment basically breaks on a production line, it could jeopardize the whole production and we could stop the whole production. If the production is stopped, well, there's a high cost, each time we have basically delays. So those individuals, and but what's actually different here is that AI is able to, again, to simulate a lot of things that could happen, and it will actually could prevent failures in production by simulating the probable failures or failure sequence that will happen on a production line. And having this predictive approach, that's where the preventive maintenance analyst could act and actually or even design procedures that will kind of prevent all of those things to happen, all those failures to happen, and optimize the whole production line. And this is this is gold. If you're in manufacturing, I'll say definitely go look at preventive maintenance and become a preventive maintenance analyst, because you could use AI to just give the factory or the company or the business kind of the the failure sequence map, and how much it will cost if specific if specific equipment will stop to produce or will stop to operate. And then you could reverse a lot of things, and kind of give the factory a way or a strategy to deal with all of those things to prevent obviously any failure. So that will be kind of interesting to see how AI will evolve in manufacturing. But manufacturing and AI, it's a stream by itself. I could talk about hours and hours about manufacturing, but that's not what I'm aiming for here. It's just the overview of what could be in demand in manufacturing. Now let's go right now into a social media and social networks. Well, you see, uh, at this point, I will say, I mean, social networks or social media, it's not anymore. It's become less and less social. It's become just media. We have this. It's mass media basically. It allows people to broadcast. It allows more people to broadcast without having to go through gatekeepers basically. But when I'm talking about social media and the social networks, it's more about how people connect themselves on the web, um, with each other basically, or with group of people, group of friends. And I think there will be a shift, from what I see basically, from platforms where people post to platforms where people experience. And let me explain what do I mean by that. Well, you see, again, AI could generate immersive worlds. We already talk about this, about the simulation, about highly realistic simulations. AI will also be able to kind of generate highly, I will not say even realistic, but highly complex experiences in 3D environment. It's like having a personal micro metaverse tailored to your specific interests, moods, and also social circles. So AI will be able to create those environments, to create those social spaces, even emotional journeys, or even shared events basically. Um, you may even basically visit someone's mind garden. So I call it mind garden, but someone's space instead of the simply two-dimensional profile. So just, and I know it's going to be a little bit it's a little bit science fiction and abstract, but one AI is able to generate, and I mean, you'll say, yeah, but we could do it right now. We could make 3D environments with a lot of sophistication and everything that goes with. Yeah, but right now you have to invest hundreds and hundreds of hours of graphic design, of put some special sound effect, um, like it's just expensive, or you need a lot of work to create your own 3D dimensional environment. But with AI, it's gonna be auto generated. AI will sense, or you will be able to communicate with AI who you are and what you are, and AI will be able to generate complete, highly rich three-dimensional environment with sound, with effect, with whatever you want. So imagine this, like instead of opening someone's Instagram, you step into their space. You're in a kind of stylized environment that reflects their personality, like a cozy cafe for someone's, let's say, artistic, or a sleek neon lounge for someone who's more, well, techie. You might see floating clips from their life, hear voice notes in the air, see projects they've built, or shared memories as interactive objects. Maybe you can sit across from an AI generated version of them to preview how they talk, think, or vibe in conversation. I mean, that's really interesting. You could almost train yourself. How are you going to approach that individual? Like, train yourself how that individual will interact. So when you're gonna meet that person, you'll almost be prepared. So that will be interesting, like by itself. And yeah, all of that could shift based on their current mood and what they want to share, basically, in those highly three-dimensional and very rich, highly realistic environments. So right now, obviously, as I said, right now, creating a 3D environment take a team of designer developers, tons of hours, but with AI, it's gonna be generated almost automatically with almost no cost, or very, very minimal cost. And just describe what they want, and the AI will build it instantaneously. So you would say something like, make space feel like a futuristic rainforest with glowing plants, a music area, and a floating memory wall, and bam, here we go. It's there. No coding, no design skills, just pure expression that will manifest by itself because AI will generate it through your conversation, or just by feeling your mood, your visual expressions, your face expressions, and just learning about who you are as an individual. And that's gonna be kind of a game changer, to be honest with you. It's obviously lowers the barriers so much that anyone could create their own immersive world and easily posting a photo today. And that, I would say, will change at least the social media space or social networks. Um, but it will wait. We'll have to wait until the social media will the AI actually will become a little bit more mature and a little bit more powerful than what we have right now, obviously. When it comes to roles, and when it comes to how you know social media, whatever it's social media marketing or other companies or businesses will be able to evolve in that environment, that I will say that it will be this one another stream by itself, another presentation by itself, because there's a lot to unpack, and there's a lot of roles that will be created, a lot of services that will be created around it, even if AI will replace all of those probably graphic designers, developers, and all of those individuals that right now they are needed to create highly complex realistic three-dimensional environments. But it's for another day. So that said, I hope it gave you some idea about what the future will be, and what the AI-driven economy will become. If you have any ideas, any comments, anything that you want to share, please put them in the comment section. I read everything, as you know it. And that said, see you in the next one.